Yeah. So this feeling, this visceral beingness that just is, that's always there, permanent, unchanging, despite the coming and going, the appearing and disappearing, thoughts, appearances, shapes, colors, forms, bodies. What's always here, this presence, this sentience, this aliveness, this felt sense I'm alive, I exist. It's non conceptual. It has nothing to do with the intellect. It's the source of the mind. It precedes everything. That is enlightenment. That is what everything is already, already done, and too obvious, too palpable, too self evident, and already realized. So it's already done. It's too easy. It's too easy. And then a thought can come in, yeah, but, but that's just a thought. And just like Sailor Bob says, what is wrong with right now without thinking about it? What is there without a thought? Even if you, with your eyes open, looking at the screen without a thought, there's no distinguishing this from that. There is no this and that. There is no object. It's just pure beingness, pure awareness. And how beautiful that you is the noumenal, the omnipresence, the invisible, formless, infinite, the infinite intelligence, the knower that can't be known, all alone, singular, like in deep sleep, where you're not conscious of being aware, but dreaming yourself as forms, as this conceptual mental projection, imagined appearances. You can see yourself, you can sense yourself, you can serenade yourself, make love to yourself through every sensation, through everything. And it's all sensory experience. It's all mental. It's one consciousness exploring itself. Infinite potential, infinite perspective, infinite qualities. I love the analogy of the daydream, because even if you imagine daydreaming, in the imagination there's imagining, characters and scenarios and that are playing out. That's what this is. And how can you be separate from the appearances and the imagination, the shapes, colors, forms, textures, tastes, feelings, It's all one mind, imagining, perceiving, and what is there, in the daydream, what's really happening, what's all there is perceiving sensations, all there is pure awareness. And what is the daydream without being aware of it? It wouldn't appear to exist like in deep sleep. It's one. It's all awareness. It's all beingness. It's being. It's being. And it's visceral. And God dreaming this, you as God dreaming this, what is it like as the formless, the invisible, to appear as forms in the imagination, to experience yourself, to taste chocolate, to be immortal, but to appear mortal, it's just like, it's beautiful, a beautiful love story. And so even the getting lost in the daydream, it's like having a daydream and forgetting that you're the one imagining that's infinite, and identifying with the character in the daydream and thinking you're limited and bound, which is innocent and playful. It's whatever's appearing to happen is what's being longed for. So even getting lost in the dream and looking for yourself in the dream is what you want. This is, and you don't need anything. Just like when you trace back, you know, what is this really? Or even in the analogy of the dream at night, were there separate entities? Were there separate objects? What was that? It was just mental. It was just me. Everything's me. Everything's my mind. And then it's like, well, what is that? You trace it all the way back, and all there is pure awareness, perceiving sensations, beingness. And it's one, it can't be separate. That's what this is pure consciousness. The felt sense I am, everything is I am. This conscious presence, this beingness, that's all there is. And it can't be separate. And as the pure awareness, or you can call it the knowing principle, the infinite intelligence, the can't stand apart from itself to know itself, because you are it. You are that appearing as everything. So you can't know it. You can only be it. So how could the one mind, be separate from the images in the mind? It's all one. And if you're aware of it, you're the source of it. If you're aware of it, you precede it. And what you are is non-linear, non-conceptual, non-computational, because you are the source of the mind. You're prior to the mind. So this is just the absolute talking to itself in the imagination, the absolute seeing itself, making love to itself through every sensation. All mental, no physical, no objects. You could say it's all one subject. It's all the pure awareness, sensing itself. And I love the analogy of the VR headset too, because when I put it on the first time, when my kids showed me, there was a roller coaster, and it felt the feeling of being on the roller coaster. Was I really on the roller coaster? No, it wasn't real. It wasn't happening. It was an illusion, a holographic hallucination. But there were these sensations, perceiving sensations. That's all there is perceiving sensations. And the imagination of the mental projections. So that's a big clue right there is the VR headset. Everything's the clue because everything's God waking itself up from the dream. And being singular, it's inevitable, it's too easy to figure out because it already is. It's already realized, it's already cognized. It's just recognized what was covering it up because you're like, oh my gosh, this feeling I am, this felt sense of conscious presence of beingness, that's always been with me. That's always there, despite all of the changes and the transient images appearing and disappearing and thoughts and then you can see that, oh my gosh, I was limiting that to solely being inside the body, which is what people call a soul, or which made it seem like that sentience, that's this all-encompassing, all-pervading omnipresence that's just is everything, was contained in this idea or concept or objectified as just being this body. So it was like identifying that sentience, that aliveness with just being the body. And then the thoughts, which is the avatar and the character. And that appeared to make the illusion of the subject object. And so then it was objectifying everything, which which is beautiful because that's how God, that's formless and visible and immortal and deathless and unborn, could feel what it was like to be mortal. What is it like to be human when you're not? It's beautiful. So that VR headset with the roller coaster, it was such a great analogy when I experienced that because it was like the butterflies in the stomach and I felt like I was going to barf and all of this feelings. And it's like, that's what this is. When you trace it back, when you really inquire and you put it under the microscope, that's all there is pure awareness. That's it. There are no forms and shapes and colors. And this is just a beautiful illusion, beautiful dream so that you as the infinite can explore yourself, can see yourself, because how else can you see yourself? You're formless, you're invisible. You'd have to imagine what you're not, the opposite, the forms, the qualities. So this is perceiving qualities. It's sensual. It's a sensory experience like a VR headset. And what's wearing the VR headset? That which is aware, which precedes it, which is the source of it, which is what's hearing this voice, is the source, is the absolute, is God. So there's just pure beingness. When you distill everything, when you put it under the microscope and you're like, trace it back to the source, that's all there is this pure awareness. And just like when you look at the screen without a thought and there's no distinguishing, there's no objects, there's no object of attention, there's just attention, there's just pure awareness, pure beingness. It's too obvious that there's never been separation. In that silence without thought, it's too obvious you don't exist as an individual, that you're this pure sentience, this pure aliveness, this boundless, infinite, radiant, this love for life. That's it. That's what you are. And it's not inside the body. There is no body. And that's all there is that pure aliveness, that felt sense I am. That is everything. That is everything. No separation. And it's so cool because even like neuroscientists discovered that you can't describe the taste of chocolate or the taste of mint. You can't describe the color green. This is all experiential. This is all perceiving itself as one, making love to itself. It's pure beingness. It's being the taste of chocolate. It's being the senses. It's sensing itself through everything. It's being it. Being is knowing. And just like my friend Jack says, being is understanding. It's already done. It's already understood. It's already known because this is self-evident. It doesn't need to know itself. God is all there is. And you can't stand apart to know you're infinite. You can't be measured. You are the knowing principle, the infinite intelligence. So just like the analogy of the daydream, of having a daydream, and which is just spontaneously unfolding like a dream at night, and that the visceral sensations, the feelings of, or the excitement, kind of like the VR headset, it's just all sensual, perceiving sensations, getting lost in the daydream and thinking that you're the character that's being imagined, that you're living a life, that you have a story, that you're bound. All of it is just total perfection, whole and complete. As God that's limitless, infinite, doesn't need anything. So then looking for itself in the daydream as a concept, as an object, and then recognizes, oh my gosh, I'm the one imagining this. I'm this sentience, this omnipresence, this this aliveness that everyone feels and already knows, that's already realized. And so then there's just a seeing what was covering it up. And it was just a dream. It was just a daydream. Getting lost in a daydream by being aware of the thoughts, which are projecting images, hallucinations, illusion, identifying as being the object, which was just very simple and very innocent and easy to do and playful. And just like my friend says, that mischievously doesn't want to see itself, wants to get lost in the dream of the shiny things. Like Alan Watts said, God playing hide and seek with itself in a dream. It's total perfection. That's what you want. That's what's being longed for, whatever's appearing to happen. And it's so obvious, too, that when you're aware, even logical, if you're aware of something, you precede it, you're prior to it. And when you really focus on the awareness, when you're aware of being aware, even when there's sensations being felt, you can see very clearly that the awareness is unaffected by what's appearing to happen. It's untouched, it's permanent, it's eternal, it's immortal, it's infinite. And that's what you are. Untouched by what's appearing to happen, but playfully in awe, childlike wonder of everything that's appearing to happen, even if it's pain. And that this aliveness, this love for life, this felt sense I am, is the eternal bliss, is the contentment that's always there, despite pleasure or pain, which is all just an impersonal sensation arising in pure consciousness, completely untouched. So eternally happy even when there's sadness. So it can be so obvious that you are that. You are the source of life, this aliveness that never dies, it was never born, never goes away. It's always been with you. And it's the absolute seeing itself. So it's like when I saw this, I was like, oh my gosh, how amazing. I was misidentifying that as being Ginny. I thought that was Ginny. I thought that's what Ginny was. This pure sentience, this feeling I'm alive. But it had nothing to do with the body. There is no body. All there is this aliveness, this beingness that's experiencing itself. So that which is perceiving, the looking, is what's being looked for. What's being looked for is what's perceiving the looking. Looking for yourself that already is, that's already realized. And everyone knows that they are. Everyone, this is already done. It's already this sense of aliveness. That's enlightenment. Everyone's already enlightened. Everything's already this. That's everything. Everything's enlightenment. It's too easy. There was a thought that it was complicated or it was objective or it was somewhere else, but that's just a thought. What is that without a thought? There's nothing. It's already free. It doesn't need to be freed. There's nothing but freedom. Mhm. So just like when you close your eyes and there's no body, and you can't even feel where the skin ends and the space begins. It's all empty spaciousness. And if there's a sensation, there's just perceiving sensations. That's all there is. Beingness. So everything's the clue. Everything's God talking to itself, waking itself up from the dream. It's in lyrics of songs, it's in movies, it's the analogy of the movie theater where you're just watching the movie, you're not involved, you're not in the movie. But then there can be a getting emotionally involved and identifying with it, losing yourself in it, suffering in it. And then there can be a recognition, you know, you're the screen from which the movie's appearing and disappearing that never goes away, it never dies. It doesn't get burned by the fire in the movie, that pure awareness that's uninvolved. And what would the movie be without the awareness? It wouldn't appear to exist. All there is awareness. And the silence is too obvious. I could see that I was distracting myself with thoughts and things to worry about and stuff to resist so that I wouldn't see how obvious it was that I wasn't the character, Ginny. I just still wanted to play that part of identifying as the character, which was just playful, hide and seek. But just like the analogy of the daydream, what's dreaming this? What's aware of this? What's perceiving this? That's the lover that's never left you, that you've always been, that never dies. It's home, sweet home, always home, always content, despite the sense perceptions, the changing qualities, the pleasure, the pain, the sadness, the happiness, the joy, this that's perceiving this, it's aware of all the dancing images on the screen, illuminating it, imagining it, is always content, is the source of bliss, is that childlike wonder. Exploring itself is everything. The phone's blowing up. It's too easy. I laughed at myself. I was just like, wow, oh my God, how beautiful. And that's why Papa G kept saying, just keep quiet. Basic, AKA, shut the fuck up. Without a thought, it's too obvious. Not a thought, which is just so beautiful because no one's doing the thinking. It's just the beautiful, imagined, the dream of relativity, the magic show, the God experiencing what it's like to be, what it's like to even think this is real, to think this is doomed or mortal. What is that like? It's stunning, it's beautiful, it's perfect. Everything's the purpose, everything's the goal. The journey is the goal, the path is the goal, the practice is the goal. Everything's the way, everything is God. Every way is the way. And so free that there's nothing to do to be free, and no doer to do it. So nothing on offer because it's already done. It's already realized. It's already enlightened. There's nothing that needs to change, nothing that needs to be done. You're not even in the body, you're not even in the movie. It's just appearing to do itself like a dream at night. It's all resonance. It's all energetic. Has nothing to do with the words. It's visceral, it's sensual, it's felt sense, intuition, intelligence, beingness. Already done. Everyone already knows that they're the infinite. This is already realized. So everything points to this, everything's the clue. And there doesn't even need to be words. We can just sit in silence, and this is transmitted energetically. It's all it is resonance, energy, frequency. Because it's already known, it's already done. So even the earnestness for self-knowledge, even the practice, is all just resonating on the frequency of recognizing that it's already done. It's already been this way. It's eternal. It never went away. You never lost it. And it's perfect even when there's an idea or resonating on a concept, rendering evidence in the imagination that it's somewhere else, or it's not this, or that's total perfection, that's whole and complete, that's God. Everything is. So just like with eyes open, looking at the screen with no thought, there is no one looking at the screen. This is indistinguishable. This is immutable. This is unchanging. It never goes away. It's eternal. And that's what you are. You can never die. You were never born. So when there was an innocent misidentification, God playing hide and seek with itself in a dream, when I identified this feeling I'm alive, this felt sense I am, this sentience, this aliveness, with solely being in this body. So I thought it was Ginny. Everything in the dream appeared objective, separate, seemed real, it seemed substantial. But I was just giving that sentience, I was limiting that boundless aliveness that can't be contained, it can't be limited, it's infinite, with solely being the object that was finite, that was temporary. So then there was this obviousness that these images, these sensations, these finite sensations being perceived are temporary, are unreliable. The body comes and goes. It even disappears every night. It was just a dream. So there was a relying on these finite sensations for happiness, and they were never permanent. They were never reliable. They would appear and disappear. And so then there was that searching for myself as the permanent, because it already knew. Everyone already knows that they're the infinite. And then there's the seeing that this is all there is. This is all the apparent objects are this total eternal aliveness that never dies. It is the infinite. Every appearance is the infinite. This imaginary world, this imaginary bodies, God imagining itself, making love to itself through everything. So everything is this total aliveness. There are no objects. It's all this pure infinite energy. They can't be known because you are it, and you can't stand apart. Everything's you. So there's no subject object. There's just pure beingness. The felt sense I am. And there's no difference between pleasure and pain. Just like when you close your eyes and you can't feel where the body ends or where it starts, it's just empty space. All sensations are just impersonal sensations arising and disappearing. You remain content, untouched. And that's so obvious. You are eternal happiness. You are the source of your own bliss. You are bliss itself. So it's obvious that that wasn't where happiness came from. What's the objects in the imagination? You are the happiness. You are the joy for life, the love to live, the love to be. And so then it can be seen that even in pain, there's that childlike wonder, that bliss, because you're aware that you're untouched, you're immortal, invincible. And everything's allowed to play, everything's allowed to come and go and be as it is, and without resistance. Okay, I'll stop rambling. Mwah. Love you. If this resonates, go to my description and feel free to book a one-on-one if it feels good. Or join my Patreon group for group Zooms. Or call me. My number's on the website. I love you. You're me. Mwah. I'm you. This is one.